Okay, hello everybody. This is Aaron here from Rogueworks. I'm just going to do a quick video with some slideshow pictures to talk you through the best way to install your Master Precision rail on your KC02. So, this is following on from the video we just did about the multi-barrel installation. I was taking apart my own KC02, my own personal one, and installing some of our latest upgrades onto it. So just took pictures throughout the process and thought I'd talk you guys through it, as you're all going to be doing the same soon. So your first step is get your rail, remove the hop wheel from it, get your 3 6mm screws. You can use the standard ones from your normal KC02, and just loosely attach the rail to your receiver. If you've read many of our other guides or watched our videos, you know that I highly recommend using steel thread inserts like helicoils and redoing the threads on your receiver, as it lets you torque down your rail a lot more strongly. God, that was terrible English. Torque the screws a lot more without worrying about stripping the threads out of your receiver. I've done that on all of our KC02s. I do it on every KC02 that comes across my bench. So anyway, loosely attach the rail to begin with, and what you want to do is pull the rail towards the rear of the receiver before you tighten the screws down, because what you're looking to do is reduce the size of this little gap just here, where I call them the teeth of the rail, where they overhang the front of the receiver. You want to minimize that gap. Get the rail pulled as far back as you can. There's always some slight play in the screw holes on the rail and the receiver. It's just to, if we tried to make them really tight, we'd get people not being able to fit the screws through the holes and line it up on their receiver. So there is some small amount of play. What you want to do is just pull the rail towards the rear of the receiver when you're installing it. Once you've got that gap minimized, then you can tighten those 3 screws down. We will not be messing around with those 3 screws again throughout the process. They form the starting anchor point for this once you've got the rail as far back as possible. So next step, we're going to do a trial fit of the hop wheel. I normally apply a bit of lube to the very fine threads on the Master Precision rail, just because they're so fine. If you get even a bit of grit in there or something, it's going to probably jam the wheel. And the detents, those little ball bearings that you can see sticking out, they do a great job of holding the wheel nice and firm. So we want the actual movement on the threads to be slick. There's a lot of thread engagement. They're only 0.5mm fine threads, and you can see they're very wide, so there's a lot of friction going on there. It's a good idea to grease the threads. I just use some of our Abbey SM50 like molybdenum grease. And what you want to do is just wind the hop wheel in just a few turns and flip your receiver over and have a look and see that the main like hop shaft, I guess you'd call it, is centered in the hole where it comes through the receiver. You want that to be perfectly centered. Now if it's not, leave the wheel where it is and loosen off those 3 screws again on your receiver and move your rail to get that shaft centered in that hole. You want it exactly in the middle of the hop hole in your receiver. Okay, so now you want to turn your receiver and rail back over and slot your barrel into position. If you've just gone through the assembly video for your multi-barrel, then I mean, this is the same for any KC02 barrel. You're going to have your hop unit sticking out the rear of your outer barrel. Just slide it into position underneath the rail and loosely put the screws in. The same applies for this. You want to pull the barrel towards the rear of the receiver when before you tighten those 2 screws down, and that's just to make sure that the barrel is as firmly seated against the receiver as you can. If you don't pull it towards the rear when you tighten those 2 screws down, you might end up with a bit of the hop unit visible, and it can also affect it can pull your barrel off center if it's not fully against the receiver when you apply the V-block. So just make sure that you're pushing the barrel towards the receiver to close the gap up before you tighten those 2 screws down. Now you'll notice that we have not got the V-block installed yet. That's because we need to check the alignment and install the Master Precision hop wheel before you put the V-block on. So once you've got your barrel attached and your hop unit in place, flip your receiver over and have a look down through the middle of your rail and see that the hole in your hop key is perfectly centered in the middle of your rail and in the middle of the hop hole in the receiver. That gives you the best chance of getting good alignment with the hop wheel when you install it. So if that all looks to be nice and straight, then you can tighten up those 2 screws on your barrel. They're probably okay. So now what you want to do, we're going to be properly installing the Master Precision hop wheel. So just loosely, just get it caught on the threads, and immediately flip your receiver over, and you want to be looking into your hop unit. You want to see that contact patch in the hop unit, looking at that the top of your hop rubber there. Now, as you spin in screw in the Master Precision hop wheel, if you see that hop rubber patch moving before your hop wheel has started clicking and is properly engaged into the rail, then it means that the shaft from the hop wheel has prematurely caught on the edge of your hop key, and you need to take it back out and check your rail alignment, just to make, or wiggle it around to try and just fiddle with the alignment to get the hop wheel to slot into your hop key instead of catching on the edge. Okay, now I have a little clip for you here of what the wheel is like when it's clicking. You shouldn't see the hop patch moving at all until the hop wheel is quite a way into its clicking range. You shouldn't see the hop rubber moving before the wheel starts clicking like this. Okay, so if you've got your hop wheel properly installed now, you can now loosely apply your V-block and the screws and start tightening that down until you are happy. I would recommend that obviously keep the 2 screws balanced, like alternate tightening them one at a time until it's really nice and snug, and also keep checking that your hop wheel can still move freely when you're tightening the V-block up, because sometimes it's possible that the V-block slightly torques the barrel, and that can apply a little bit of friction to the hop wheel. If this happens, then there's a couple of things you can do. You can try adjusting the position of the 2 barrel screws. Just slack your V-block back off, ease the pressure on the 2 screws attaching the rail to the barrel, and try reseating that a little bit. What I've done in the past, because we've encountered some variation in the thickness of the top of the KCO2 receivers, so what I've done on 1 or 2 of ours is just put a layer of electrical tape, just black insulation tape between the rail and the barrel, just to give it a little bit of wiggle room to it. It's not something that's going to be visible when installed, but it just gives just a little bit of a cushion to it, so that the V-block doesn't apply quite as much torque up through into the rail and twists the hop unit off center. So it's just something to be aware of when you're tightening the V-block. You also want to be checking that your hop wheel can still turn freely. Okay, so if you've got your hop wheel installed, your V-block all tightened down, all your rail screws are all nice and tight, then congratulations, you've installed your Master Precision rail. And it looks fantastic, obviously. So there is some adjustment that you can do. We've obviously got the 2 detent turrets, which are the 2 ball bearing clickers for the Master Precision wheel, and using a 2mm Allen key, if you screw those detent grubs all the way in, it will lock your Master Precision hop wheel in place, which I know has been a feature a lot of people have asked for. It's not something I'm personally going to use, because I always find myself dialing the hop up and down just a little bit during games, but you can also make the hop wheel easier to adjust if you want to wind those grub screws out a little bit or make it stiffer. I think from factory we are going to put blue Loctite paste on them, so they're not going to come undone of their own accord. By the time your rail gets to you, that Loctite might have dried, so they will be quite stiff to adjust. It's up to you if you want to reapply that. Just don't lose the springs and ball bearings, for God's sakes. I don't want to be posting a 3mm ball bearing to Canada or something. That's ridiculous. So I think what we're going to do when we dispatch them, we're going to wind them all the way in and then back them off about half a turn, so the hop wheel will be nice and stiff for adjustment. I think that's going to be the optimum for most people. I think that just about covers everything. You've got the adjustment, it's all nicely installed. Yeah, you can assemble the rest of your gun now, and we'll see you on the field. Thanks for listening.